Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to the Fantasy Forecast for Thursday, March 17th, 2016. Hope you guys all had a good night last night. Let's move right on into optimal lineups tonight. As for my cash result last night, it did not win. A couple of the optimals that I handed out that were just running flat, they did, but they were barely crossing the lines at about 310, 312. There was nothing particularly special, and my line came in around the 270s, which was not enough to cash. I think it might have hit a couple 50-50s somewhere, but it really wasn't enough. So, on to today. First up, we have Roto Grinders. Roto Grinders has for us today Wall and Mutier at the point guard, Middleton and Stevenson at the shot guard, Barnes and Mirotic at small forward, Millsap and Portis at the power forward, and Lopez at the center. And they're projecting this lineup to come in at 298. Okay, moving on to Roto Wire. RotoWire today has for us Wall and Smith in the point guard position, Beal and Green in the shot guard position, Leonard and Haywood in the small forward, Millsap and Portis in the power forward, and Horford for the center. And they're projecting this at, oh my lord, are you seriously? They're projecting this lineup at 246. That's an optimal lineup? Wow. Okay, moving on. Up here we have, so I brought them back in from Fantasy Pros because they were one of the winning ones yesterday with their 312, which was very impressive, even with Jefferson sitting at the bottom. So, Fantasy Pros for us today has Wall and Lillard in the point guard, or Lillard. Stevenson and Beal in the shot guard. Hayward and Harkless at small forward. Farriot and Millsap at power forward. And Monroe for the center. And this is being projected at 291. Okay, moving on. This is Daily Fantasy Cafe. And theirs is coming in with Wall and Lowry at the point guard. Beal and McCollum at the shot guard, Mirotic and George at small forward, Davis and Favors at power forward, and center is Plumlee. Alright, last one is Roto QL. You guys know how to modify this if you want to try to get an extra one out of them. This is their standard. We have Wall and Augustin at point guard. We have Stephenson and Booker at shot guard, Batum and Barnes at small forward, Aldridge and Deng at power forward, and Jokic for the center. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to my own recommended cash entry for today, and I'll explain my own picks too as well. Alright, you guys are going to see Wall at the top. There's a reason why everybody in every ideal lineup everywhere has Wall, guys. What do you think? A point guard against the Sixers, and he's John Wall too. I mean, really, you're looking at an awesome floor, and there is upside against that team. And with them both kind of just running a quick, fast-paced game, Isaiah Canaan right there getting the minutes that he's been getting lately is another great play at under 4,000, which is why I nabbed him. You need value to make your big guys fit. But I'll pull up his game logs for you. You guys can see what he did just yesterday. On 32 minutes, he had 20 points, put up 22 FanDuel points. That's more than 5 times value. Detroit, he had 33, did 26 points. That's close to 6 times value. It's a little above 6 times value. I mean, these are impressive numbers at these prices to make it fit. So I'm down, especially against the Wizards there. At shot guard, I have Booker and Middleton. I'm not going for the upside plays here, guys. This is meant to be a cash entry, try to win for sure kind of thing. Booker is going to be solid, even if there's some type of blowout. Utah's a bit of a better team, but I don't think it will be as blowouty as people are expecting, and Booker still tends to get his points along with Len whenever they are losing. They have to play someone, and those two are basically the main focal points of the team at this moment, so Booker is in at 66 for me. That's an easy one. Middleton You got a shot guard against Memphis. Memphis finally showed that they are the high school team that they are. I won't even call them JV anymore. They're the high school team that they are. Got destroyed and blown out. And I'll take the other side of the blowout even if he sits eventually, because Middleton will do just fine with 3 quarters against Memphis. And if somehow Memphis hangs in there somehow, some way, well, wow, you're looking at a great upside value there too. So moving on, we got George. Now, there's last-minute news with Toronto again. Yesterday, DeRozan's sitting hurt a lot of people. Today, Lowry is sitting. So Lowry and a couple of those earlier lineups that I was showing you for optimals, they're already going to need to be changed because you're going to get a big fat 0 for every Lowry you have today. The plus side is if Toronto is sitting Lowry, the best player on the other team against him is going to lose like one of their best defenders against him. They really have 2 people up there in Toronto, and one of them's gone. So I think George is going to have a really good chance now. Even if he gets picked up on the defense, he's going to pass out for his assists. And you're going to see probably above average from George today. I'm expecting around 48 points, to be honest, which is really high for a 9,000 price. It's acceptable. You'd expect, for your floor of 50, you'd have to pay 10. I got Hollis Thompson. The Sixers have just been ravaged by injuries. We all know that. Covington is not coming back anytime soon. Holmes is not coming back anytime soon. Jeremiah Grant's not coming back anytime soon. You can look at where they've been running their lineups, and Hollis gets you enough points at his 4,000 with the run that he's getting where he can make the rest of your lineups work. Again, a nice value pick based on injuries for tonight. Parker. I like playing him against Memphis. I just think that Memphis is going to get run over again. Now that they've realized they are beatable, it's not like they have someone that can come back and really kill them. Stevenson is supposed to be back tonight and could be a good play farther up there if you're thinking about that. Definitely consider him, but this is for a cash entry for me, guys, and he was just hurt yesterday, and who knows if his wrist is really, truly fully back. So I stay away from stuff like that in a cash entry that I'm giving out publicly to you guys. All right, so we have Parker at power forward, and then we have JaMychal Green from Memphis. Memphis does need to get something done somewhere, and so we're going to go with Green this time. The price has finally dropped enough where it's somewhat more acceptable to take him. He was at 64, then he went to 62. Now he's at 6, and against the Bucks, he can put up a 38-point night. So let's hope it happens that way. I mean, if it doesn't happen that way, I expect a floor of 30. And then Jokic at the bottom is likely going to be forgotten among the drum roll beats of other centers tonight. Guys, look at his stats. He's a consistent performer for you, and he's got the Hawks tonight, and the Denver doesn't play too well themselves. You're looking at a higher scoring game, I would expect, and essentially more fantasy points all around. So that's your ideal cash lineup for today. I'll show you some contest entering advice for today on a 9-game slate real fast. You're going to want to consider 50-50s, of course. Go for these leagues. Now, I think it just says $2 there. They offer them lower. I'm sorry about that. But they offer leagues at $1, and they have 100 entries, and they're single entry. You can tell there's an M here if it's a multi, and it's only one entry. I mean, there are some multi-entry ones. I don't see any in here right now, but do not enter a multi-entry league. And try to avoid the ones that have smaller pools too of 50. Try to get the biggest pool you can, like 100, that's still single entry. Same thing is going to apply in the multiplier contest where the line is somewhat lower. You'll see they have the big double ups that you can enter tons of times, but these other little double ups here, it only has 56 people in it, but it's single entry. Here's the really nice ones, guys. 568 entries, and yet you're only allowed to enter once. That's a pretty good pool of people that can cushion your lineup underneath. And then, of course, there's your regular tournaments. Today, you would recommend the SWAT. It's almost full. I'm sure you guys have a couple entries already, though. It's the lottery ticket run for most people, so there will be some cushioning there. And you can move over to the shot as well. The shot's going to have a lot of entries in it still. The farther up you guys go, as soon as you head to the $5 contest and the layup right here, the scores go up to hits. So you got to be really sure before you do that. And one last note, guys. If you're thinking about playing a satellite or something like that, for, $2 and I can get into the monster, look what it takes to win. There's one prize out of 172 entries, guys. Unless you're truly sure that you are nailing things, these guys aren't the games for you. The best rule of thumb is if you can afford to play the ticket on your own, then you can afford to play the satellite. If you can't afford a $300 ticket on your own, you should probably be aiming for a satellite like this, where there's 5 tickets for the Mega Slam available, I believe. If I could ever hit information. Yeah, 1st through 20th, 20 tickets available. And there's 289 entries. You can kind of hit somewhere near the top and still get yourself a $25 prize ticket out of that $2. All right, there's your contest betting advice. Real fast, onto my recommended cash lineup for today for you guys. John Wall, Kanan, point guards. Shot guard, Booker, Middleton. Small forward, George and Thompson. Power forward, Parker and Green. Center, Jokic. As always, guys, remember to look for last-minute injury information and see how that changes things. We just got the news that Lowry is going to be sitting for Toronto, and that might open up a value Toronto pick as well, depending on who ends up going in the starter, and that's not reflected here either. So watch those last-minute injuries, guys. Pay attention during the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of lineup lock. It makes all the difference in the world as to whether you guys win or lose. Okay, I hope you guys have gotten some good instruction out of this video. Go ahead and make your own lineups. Use these ones if you'd like. It's all up to you. Love you guys all to death. Hope you have a wonderful day today. Go out there and go win some money.